If the Jets and Falcons swap first-round picks, what does the New York Jets draft look like? We do a 7-round mock draft now. And we are back. Today, we are going to do the draft scenario where the Jets trade back with the Atlanta Falcons. There's been a rumor that the Atlanta Falcons would like to jump ahead of their NFC South rivals, the Panthers and the Saints, so they can draft, I think it's Jalen Walker. Is that right?
Jalen Walker, yeah.
Jalen Walker. Okay. That's the scenario. And the idea that's been coming up for the trade compensation would be we would get their first round pick this year. We'd swap first, essentially. And we would also get next year's first round pick, which would be good to have, given that it gives you a little bit of ammunition in the event that the Justin Fields thing doesn't work. So we're going to do that. And I am the captain of the ship today. I am Jeff PM. Let me take off the hat and show off the baldness like Joe Douglas, essentially.
You might not want to do that. That didn't work out very well.
Just rub your head for good luck if you're going to do that.
Okay, fair enough. So here's the scenarios again, guys. We have our draft. As we've done with everything, it's going to be 7 rounds. Public is going to outweigh the PFF board for sure. Positional value and draft need is going to be higher than usual for these mock drafts. And the randomness, we're going to do absolutely less on it. Okay. Now, question for you, just to make sure that Atlanta does the swap for Jalen, should I also select Atlanta here?
You can just force the trade.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand that.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and then we'll give them Jalen Walker, and then we'll just make whatever pick, because we'll have to do a pick for them every round. You know what I mean?
I also don't want to grade from Atlanta, so you know what? I'm just going to let them do whatever they want, all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so now the draft is here. All right, so now we're going to set it up in a way that Atlanta has the picks, right? We're going to trade 15 and round 1 for 7, and we're going to force this trade, right? That's how you do it, PFF. Thanks for making it. And by the way, this trade is a 56% chance to be accepted.
Anyway,
you're forcing the trade. Oh, wow. Okay. The trade has been accepted. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to start the draft. Okay, on the clock. Okay, let's see if Atlanta even made that pick. No, they drafted Will Campbell. Okay.
What the hell?
Let's take Jalen.
And now we can take Jalen Walker, right? Because he's going to be probably really high on the board. But interestingly enough, the guys that I've been most known to be drafted by the Jets
went. Wow.
Membo and Warren went 10, which is very interesting because that is a team that's kind of in the mix there. But now you're sitting at the Jets, and what the hell do you do here, right? And this is where this is where things become a little bit troublesome, right? Because your tackle is not really there, right? And I guess your tight end. I mean, I guess Colston Loveland is here, but he's a little bit far back, right? Kelvin Banks is your next tackle, I guess, right? And Josh Simmons, who's coming off an ACL tear, that's a little bit of a concern for me, if that makes sense.
Dude,
so it's what the hell do you do here?
Dude, Kenneth Grant and don't look back.
Kenneth Grant, yeah, I was thinking that too.
You know what I mean? Like that big run-stuffing defense.
If you can't get Mason Graham, I mean, that's kind of your guy.
Okay, so let's look at Kenneth Grant here, really, for instance, right? And honestly, Will Campbell should have been there. But Falcons traded up to just draft them anyway. They lied to everybody.
Yeah,
6'3", 39 pounds. He's from Indiana, which is such a thing for this guy to be, right? He's a former 4-star recruit. High school, he played on both sides, guard and defensive tackle, while also competing in the shot put and track and field. Okay, so this guy has some feet, right?
He's an athlete too. Yeah,
he's an athlete. Yeah, he's like you ever see those guys, those really fat guys on roller skates, doing backflips and that on the thing. Right. That's not how I imagine this guy. But anyway, he is the ideal size for nose tackle, standing at 6'3" and weighing nearly 340. He also possesses the quickness for his size. That quickness flashes in pure pass rush situations and when shooting the gaps. Hand speed can match his lower body quickness, but not always. Too often his hands are slow or appear flailing. His big issue is that he isn't always in attack mode. While some of his assignments involve looping or containing, there are too many snaps where he hesitates rather than attacks. When he does play with aggression, he is a force. Let's look at the stats. Okay, pretty solid, right? The run grade is obviously going to be higher than the pass rush grade because he's a big fat guy in the middle, right?
But it's still a good pass rush grade.
It's still a good pass rush grade, correct? Unless the run stock and the pass rush win rate is still very high, which probably tells you that he gets a lot of those double teams. So does Mason Graham, right? Does play a lot of the A and the B, which is good to see, right? Yeah. And also Ohio State was his best game by far of the year. Okay. The trends kind of show that he was actually really projected very high at one point, and I guess this would have been in the beginning of the season, but then he must have been taken over by Mason Graham, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just look at this, right? Okay, the analysis, right? Except we kind of went over this, but he executes the ET stunts effectively when looping inside. Okay, everything else we kind of already talked about, and plays too high and loses leverage. His hands can be erratic and lack purpose, and first step isn't always upfield, limits his ability to immediately attack blockers.
So I would say for those cons, right? One, again, a lot of this stuff for the first round guys is just NFL coaching can fix a lot of that, right? Secondly, when you were talking about like when he plays aggressively, he's a force. Steve Wilkes and Aaron Glenn are very aggressive by nature. They're going to coach him up to be aggressive. I don't think those cons matter at all.
They probably do, but okay.
I think aggressive is something we are selecting for right now actively as a team. Aggressiveness, violence, brutality, those types of characteristics. So I think him being a little bit lacking in that is something of concern.
I just want to look
what
at
about
real quick.
What about Loveland too?
He's a little bit further back in this draft. And honestly, like, could I see it being pick 15? I mean, knowing that the Chargers are a little bit further back, sure, right? But we could check him out real quick. I kind of don't want to go tight end here because we had the opportunity to do it. But the question is, like, because some people are saying that he's as good as Tyler Warren, right?
Right. That's what I've been hearing too.
They're just different. They're just different tight ends, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean it's more Kelsey than Kittle, and the other one, and Warren's more Kittle than Kelsey.
I mean, he's 6'5", 245. What he's an inch shorter and 20 pounds lighter than Warren.
Right,
but that grade sucks, and so does the run block grade.
His receiving grade's a 90.6 though, right? Like, so if you're drafting him, he's the guy that he's like to bring back he's like a Dustin Keller type. He's never going to help you in the run game, but he can be effective down the field.
Okay.
Right.
Now the last thing I want to look at here, because there's a lot of options here and there's a lot of weird things that can go on here. Look at this guy, James Pierce Jr. This was the combine freak of freaks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the combine freak of freaks, right? And you can and we've said this before, and we'll say it again. You can never have too many freaking edge guys, right?
Yeah, this is a freak of nature.
This is a freak of nature.
Yeah, but if you look at Mike Green, who's more highly rated than him,
that is true. Mike Green was
I mean, if you're gonna go that position,
if you're gonna go edge, you go Green. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Although but I do see why you were interested in him. But he's kind of like, if Green wasn't here, then that's who you start. That's kind of where you start looking. But I mean, just look at the pros, man.
I know. He's just a total stud, and also the stats are just ridiculous. 17 sacks.
Yeah, I mean, look, a 71.4 grade against Ohio State.
Fast as shit.
Yeah.
So
if you want to go edge, I think he's the guy, or you just solve safety with Starks, right? Like that's another option.
That's another interesting thing too. But honestly, I do not want to spend that high a pick on safety.
I completely agree.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Starks is a guy you just hope falls or something.
Here's another question. Luther Burden. Do you even entertain that?
I gotta see. So what is the size and everything again?
5'11", 208.
That's Garrett Wilson. I mean, he weighs more, but that's Garrett Wilson, and I think he's slower too. So I don't think that's like a complementary piece.
Yeah. It's just funny. We're not addressing a need whatsoever. This is like when we drafted Will McDonald, right?
Yeah.
But that was a good pickup.
It was a good pickup, and this does kind of help in the event that Jermaine or Will. I mean, you just can never have enough edge guys, right? At this point. But mind you, this is a very different defense than the solid defense too, right? This is not a 4-man rush, right? Defense. This is a
they're gonna blitz. Yeah, they're gonna. I still think you go Grant here. That's my opinion.
Okay, what about Josh Simmons? Do we want to talk about that at all?
I don't like coming off the injury. I don't like. I know it's an ACL, but I don't like coming off the injury.
What about Emeka? Anything on there do we want to talk about?
Is that too? I mean, ADP 23. Is that a touch too high? Because I love him. And
wide receiver university.
And he was on the team with Fields also. So I mean, that could be the move also.
I don't hate it.
I mean, dude, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do him.
I don't hate it. Up to you.
Yeah.
It's your call, John.
I have the decision to make here, right? Now, I guess, I mean, it would be the most ironic. I don't think we're going to trade back in the end. I think this is the least likely scenario. And also just based on the way this draft board went, right? Like the first 5, it was 6. I mean, kind of went as we went, right? But then like, God, I hate the mouse here. But then obviously Will Campbell probably should have been there realistically.
Campbell
right?
should have been there, yeah.
Campbell should have been there. So like, and I would have just drafted Campbell and sang the church gospel at that point, right? That's probably what I would have done. It will, because like realistically, Membo went, which also doesn't make sense for the Saints at this point, right? Like, why would they draft tackle at that point, right? I mean, I know they have Ryan Rams. I keep not knowing
Ryan Ramczyk.
Ramczyk. Yeah, I mean, I don't see them replacing him quite yet, if that makes sense. But okay, like theoretically, one of those tackles should have been there, right? But this is in the event that it doesn't happen, right? But okay, anyway, I'm gonna go Kenneth Grant here. I think
I love it.
I'm gonna go Kenneth Grant here. I'm gonna go Kenneth Grant and see what happens. Okay, because I think the other positions can be very solved very easily. Okay. On the clock here, once again, we didn't go wide receiver. Jaden Higgins is here. We've talked about him in previous episodes, and we like Jaden Higgins. This guy is a dude. He's a dude. It's basically a dude.
Yeah,
I'm going to draft Jaden Higgins without thinking about it.
I was going to say that you just might have to insta smash that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, the size is the perfect complement. 6'4" to Garrett. Yeah. Like that's a no-brainer, I think.
Yeah. I'm drafting Jaden Higgins here. Here we go. Okay. So that is done. GM John works really fast. Okay. Wow. Kyle Williams stayed there too. So that was kind of like a wow surprise, but we've already solved 2 positions here of need, right? But the one position we did not solve was tackle. So I'm going to explore the tackle market right here.
There's a guy.
Billow is right there, and he is a big mother bleeper. He is 6'8", and he's light on his feet. He has issues, but he's 6'8". You can't teach 6'8" and blocking, right? They usually go to basketball unless they weigh 300-something pounds. So I'm going to take Ozzie, and I don't think there's any question on there that that's the right move. And I've solved 3 of the 4 needs according to PFF. And I'm going to ignore quarterback for a little while. Because guess who just showed up at my tight end position? Harold Fandon.
Yeah.
Is somebody that we've been talking about a little bit. He was actually the highest graded receiving tight end last year over Tyler Warren. But he did play for Bowling Green, and he's a little bit undersized.
But if you look at his stats, if you go back to the stats really quick.
Great blocker, too.
He look at the Penn State grade, 91.7, Texas A&M, 89.2. Scroll down a little bit more.
I mean, yeah, can you even name all these colleges?
No, I thought for some reason I saw them. But anyway, I mean, look at Penn State and Texas A&M. You know, Big Ten, SEC, he showed out.
Right.
So, I mean, and his run block grade is a 75.2.
That's what I'm saying. He's a solid run blocker.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think if you care about tight end, I think that's kind of, this is best available.
GM John cares about tight end and would like to read the pros and cons according to PFF. Playmaker mentality. Sounds a lot like that Tyler Warren guy, right? Good burst out of his stance, inline in the slot. Has the balance to create yards after catch. Sounds like Tyler Warren. Strong hands. Tyler Warren. Nice wiggle to get across the face of coverage defenders against press. Move tight end who can play in the slot or outside an X. Undersized but competitive as a run blocker. He's competitive as a run blocker. Okay. His cons. Movements can look a bit lumbering. Out-toed stance affect this. Requires gap steps when truly changing direction. Lateral stiffness limits pass blocking ability and route diversity. I think I can live with it, given that this is going to be my 4th round tight end.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to let him, Rutger, Stone Smart compete for that tight end 1 spot. And maybe they're just going to mix it up and play multiple tight ends. I'm going to draft them. Okay.
Solid.
Thank you. Okay, on the clock still. Now there's a whole bunch of talent still left available. I could go safety here. I could go wide receiver. I could go quarterback here. We're in round 5. I'm just going to look at the quarterback position just for kicks. My man Kyle McCord is there.
Yeah.
My man Kyle McCord is there. Jets did speak with him this offseason.
Yeah. And I'll say this, like, I am not a fan of Quinn Ewers. What do you guys think of him, right?
No one is. No.
Yeah, I'm just not and I get why PFF has him ranked where they have him ranked. What is it, 16 spots ahead of McCord? But man, McCord is definitely the guy over Ewers, if you ask me.
He is the guy, and he's the guy I'm going with. Just to kind of go over him, this guy he is a good quarterback. I just don't understand. I mean, I understand because it was Syracuse and all that. 6'3", 220, which is your standard prototypical quarterback size, right? He's got some games under his belt. I mean, the worst one was definitely the Pitt game, right? But like,
He had a day
Yeah,
against
but
Miami.
I was just gonna say he played
Yeah.
He
too
against
hard.
Washington State, whatever.
And then if you
Stanford, no big deal. Georgia Tech, they always play kind of tough.
Cal.
Yeah. I mean,
if
it's not bad.
If you look at 2023, that was at Ohio State. Look at those numbers. 24 TDs, 6 picks, 3,100 yards pass. You know what I mean? Like he had a good
passer
season
rating.
at Ohio State.
108 passer rate.
Yeah, right. So I mean, that was
Yeah,
a
but the
good
college
season.
passing rating scale is like way out of whack.
The
Like
college one is crazy.
Yeah, you can get like a 200.
Yeah, but I still think if you look at that, like he had a good season in the Big Ten at Ohio State. So, I think he's a good guy. They scapegoated him.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the pros and cons of them real quick. Light on speed, constantly bouncing, ready to throw with good base, consistent, fundamental, sound throwing motion, ideal throwing mechanics, has potential for high accuracy scores and good ball placement, great touch, including over the middle, smart football player. Okay, that's always important, right? And it has the competitor in him. He's got that dog in him. Okay, cons: Baker Mayfield mentality without a Baker Mayfield arm. Okay. Throwing off his back foot and fading away.
I like that.
Yeah, arm strength appears below average to average for the NFL level and higher than ideal turnover worthy play rate as a starter over the last 2 years. And his shades of comparison are Brock Purdy. Like, we can get Brock Purdy.
You take that all day, man. That's a worthy pick in the 5th round.
All right. Well, he's my pick, so there's nothing we can do about it. Okay, now here we go. We keep going down the scale here, and something I think we need here at this point is a safety. And I'm going to take this up and stout guy because I have no idea who he is, but I could use a safety. And looks like he's a pretty solid safety, especially in the run grade. I'm guessing he's going to be a box. Oh, he is a box safety.
What's the what are his measurements?
Sure. His measurements are 5'9", 182. That's a little small.
That's small.
That is small. Do we have an analysis? No, here's a guy. Okay, very good. First look, wow, we really don't have anything on this.
Let's see if do you think there are any other safeties that might be a little bit
more detailed? Yeah. Why not? Just to kind of see what we got here. Safeties. Okay, we got the USC kid keeps popping up on my mocks too. Let's see what Ransaw looks like real quick, if that's okay. That's some garbage right there.
What's his size?
This one can't be good. 6 feet 196. Okay, so that's bigger.
Yeah. Look at the USC guy.
Yeah, why not? Show more. Okay, so we got 6 feet 200, right? Redshirt senior. He had a bad year last year.
Yeah, his 2023 was good though.
Yeah, why
80 overall grade?
You were a junior. You could have came out then. Plays the box and all that, which is interesting in itself. Do we have an analysis on him? No, we have here's a guy, and we have here's a guy. So we don't have much about any of these guys whatsoever. Elijah Clark, it's kind of interesting too. We have Mickens, but
they gave me, I think, a D on him. So
I'm going to pass on that position right now, and I'm going to go best available at this point because at this point you were just doing dartboard throws right here, right? And I kind of solved all the need positions. So Ty Felton is a guy we talked about in a previous draft. Just double down on the wide receiver position again. If we look at my picks again, I took Higgins. I got all the positions of need taken care of in this draft. I'm going to have one of the highest drafted grades ever. I'm taking Ty Felton. Okay, very good. Now we start, and a lot of receivers still available. The run of receivers hasn't happened yet. Now I'm going to start looking at the safety position because why not? We kind of need another guy. Oh, look, they're still there. What a surprise. Okay, I'm going to look at this Kayla Ranshaw guy again, too.
I mean, his 2023 was really good. What the hell's happening to these guys?
I don't know. This is bad coaching. Plays a lot in the slot, which is interesting. This is more of a slot guy than it is
more of a slot. He's 5'9", right?
Not a safety.
Yeah.
Act like I know what I'm talking about. Okay, Dean Clark. Let's see. This is a little bit more of a solid guy over here. And he's a real safety. Plays a little bit more deep than in the box, but in first look, 6'1", 206.
I think that's the guy.
I don't know anything about you, bro, but bro, you're gonna be a Jet.
I mean, look, he had a good grade against
Welcome
Michigan.
to the Jets.
Yeah, I think this is the best dart throw. All right, now we got one more.
Did I select him successfully? Yes, I did. Okay, there we go. And now this is the ultimate draft board. Screw it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look at the interior just for the hell of it. Just for the hell of it, right? Because you can never have enough big guys in the middle, right? You just build in the trenches, right? And then I'm also going to add the edge position as well because we didn't address that, and we had the opportunity to. Edge, you're probably not going to find many guys. Not really. These are all guards. So we're going to take a guard. We don't need another center, but just for kicks, just to look at him. Good pass blocker here. No sacks whatsoever, which is always great to see from a guy that played in a big conference.
If you look at his grades, like he graded out well against the bad teams, but didn't grade out very well against the good teams.
Yeah. Well, he's
You
a
know what I
sixth
mean?
rounder. So here we go. All right, Miles Frazier, let's check you out real quick. You can pass block. You can't do much out of it.
Kind of the same.
You're a scrub too. Okay, very good. These are all scrubs. Okay, very good. Jackson Slater, what are you? You played against nobodies.
Yeah, this is the ultimate kind
Yeah,
of.
I will say this: he is a left guard. In the event you can't sign Simpson long term, this could be a solution here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a 6th round dart throw, you know, Jackson State.
I don't know about solution, but
yeah, just real quick, I'm gonna walk out of this real quick and see what else is available just for kicks, anything of interest. You get another big fat guy in the middle, Ty Robinson. You can get a running back here. You can get a safety again.
I mean, listen, if you want to build the trenches, let's look at the Nebraska defensive tackle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If you want to build,
well, yeah, we kind of solved that already, you know, with our first round pick. You know what I mean?
We did, but I mean, if you want to double down on the trenches.
Yeah,
you can never have too many big guys.
I'm not going to on this position just because we did get a lot of D tackles in this offseason.
I mean, hey, the Jets took 2 running backs last year.
Yeah,
we did. Poor Izzy, man.
Pretty much back to back.
We're never going to talk to Izzy again.
I know.
I mean, we could if we could bring him on again. If we know that, right? He would come back on.
Yeah.
But he's never coming back on again. All right. You know what? Let's look at the tackle market again because maybe we could do better there. Who's this Holland Pierce guy? Has experience in left and right.
85.1. Yeah, what's his size look like?
It's got to be pretty decent. 6'8", 340.
That's on the edge of Monty's.
Yeah, this is my dad.
That's on the edge of Monty's no-go.
Yeah, that's a big no-go.
2 guys that are over 6 foot. They're both 6'8". Screw it.
That's a big no-go for me. That's too big, man. That's Becton. That's basically Becton again.
6th round pick.
But John loves Becton. So.
John loves big fat giant guys.
I love big fat giant guys. Okay, it told me I should have drafted a linebacker over Ozzy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It pretty much gave me Dean Clark was my worst pick, and so was Hoggins. It gave me a B+. Nice. Same thing as you guys.
Yeah.
So we all got B.
But,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Dude,
you started very strong.
But what I would say, man, if this is the scenario, like you solve defensive tackle, wide receiver, tight end, potentially tackle, you grab a quarterback, and you have an extra 1st rounder next year. Like this
can't complain.
Yeah.
This is a draft. This is a draft.
You know?
This is a draft. Realistically, I think Will Campbell is available at pick 15.
Yeah, I think like that's we should have forced the Jalen Walker pick also. We should have picked for Atlanta. But with that said, you know, still Kenneth Grant solves a big need. Because here's the thing with Campbell, he's a left tackle. Like, are you moving him to right tackle? Are you moving only right? But can he play right tackle? You know what I mean? Like, that's just too much to worry about. I think Grant fills a massive need.
Yeah, you know it'd be cool too, I think. Well, because realistically, I don't think it's possible that Membu lasts that long, but realistically, like he could slip past 7, right? And then maybe that's a scenario where the Jets say, you know what, we're gonna come back up a little bit, you know, which is a scenario what the Dolphins did a couple years ago, or the Eagles. It was the Dolphins, right? When they traded away 3 and moved back to 12,
and then they moved up for Waddle.
Waddle, right?
Yeah.
Scenario, and they ended up gaining a lot of draft capital out of it. Even still, like they netted draft capital, right?
Yeah, no, listen,
Like,
I mean,
I could see a scenario where that happens, right? I could, you know, and if that were the case, you would do that in a heartbeat. Get the guys you wanted, or even do it for Tyler Warren, even, right? Because I mean, even in this scenario, like I think Tyler Warren was the 10th pick here. I mean, if we look at this,
10. Yeah.
Oh no, actually, yeah, Tyler Warren was 10. The Saints took Membo in this situation. Will Campbell here is that should have been Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of Georgia guys in this draft coming in late. Yeah. A lot of Michigan guys. Was Michigan the biggest? Yeah, 4 Michigan guys. Huh. Okay, fair enough. But anyway, I like this draft. I do. I would have preferred not to have spent that.
Yeah, we know you do because you did.
No, listen. I feel
it was solid though. It was solid.
I feel like with the 3 mocks that we ended up doing, if the Jets end up with any of those 3 scenarios or something close to that,
or even the average of these 3.
Yeah, like I think
they're all B+ grades.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
if they end up with a B+ draft 3 years from now, I think you're you're in great shape. So
And it just speaks to what we've been saying, and what has been said by other pundits and people who do analysis like us, is that this is kind of a can't miss draft. Because if you look at what the Jets need and you look at what's in abundance in this draft, it's a good fit. It's it just sucks that quarterback is one of our needs, and that's one of the only things that's not really in abundance. But like defensive interior, solid D-line draft, wide receiver, or just pass catcher. Let's just say pass catcher, and then combine tight end and wide receiver. You can get a great pass catchers, somewhere in this draft too. There's some decent safeties. There's what, if the Jets are even mildly good at drafting, if this regime is even mildly good at drafting, then we should be all right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. We're going to probably screw it up somehow because we're cursed.
Oh, my God.
Are the Jets cursed? Yes or no? Do you want to get rid of the curse? Yes or no? One way to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
Buy our swag.
Buy our swag.
Are you in need of ethically sourced, 100% non-toxic, laughter-inducing apparel?
Buy our swag.
Do you long for merchandise that respects your right to chuckle in a safe, turbulence-free environment?
Buy our swag.
Look no further. The Laugh Through the Turbulence store is here to provide you with the most socially conscious, eco-friendly-ish, and cancellation-resistant merch available.
Buy our swag.
Our products have been metaphorically crash-tested for comedic integrity, ensuring they meet the highest standards of non-offensive, inclusive, and totally New York Jets-approved humor.
Buy our swag.
Whether you're looking for a t-shirt that says Laugh Through the Turbulence, a New York Jets podcast, or a hat that says Laugh Through the Turbulence, a New York Jets podcast, we've got you covered.
Buy our swag.
So, take a smooth, seatbelt fastened journey over to our store. The link is in the bio of our YouTube page, and shop with confidence. Because the only turbulence you should experience is watching the New York Jets.
Buy our swag!
Disclaimer, no actual turbulence was used in the making of the smash. Side effects may include uncontrollable giggling, heightened fashion sense, and an overwhelming desire to talk about the New York Jets. Ha ha ha.
Buy our swag!